Now, All India Judicial Services. This is a very important topic because this has been consistently in news for some time, and recently the Minister for Law has said that Minister for Law and Justice has said that the ministry is currently under debate or discussion with the Chief Justice of India on formulation of an All India Judicial Service. Now, what are the issues that are related to All India Judicial Service? The first one is constitution. What are the constitutional provisions? The second is structure of subordinate judiciary. We need to understand that. And what are the federal aspects that are going to be affected or that might come into picture when we form an All India Judicial Service. Okay. So these points will be our point of considerations, and that is how we are going to talk about All India Judicial Service. Because recently government has said that it is under discussion with the CJI for constitution of an All India Judicial Service on the lines of IAS IPS. ठीक है? IAS and IPS are All India Services. All India. Now, what is All India Services? Okay. All India Services are those services which have been mentioned in the Constitution as All India Services, and इनका कैडर allocation जो है वो स्टेट और सेंटर के बेसिस पे होता है. ठीक है. बाकी जो सारी सर्विसेज हैं उनका कैडर allocation सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट करती है. यहाँ पे भी कैडर allocation सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ही करती है, बट द टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विसेज आर regulated by both central government and state government. ठीक है. The proposed services will be for recruitment of the district judges, of course. Now, this is the subordinate or lower courts. This is the structure of subordinate or lower courts. इसको थोड़ा समझने के लिए अगर हम और क्लियर जाएं, तो India has an integrated judiciary. India has an integrated judiciary. The top पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, नीचे सारे स्टेट्स के हाई कोर्ट्स हैं. ठीक है. But one important thing is, the high courts are not under the administrative control of Supreme Courts. Very important. Very important. The high courts are not under the administrative control of Supreme Courts. They are independent constitutional bodies. ठीक है. Although they are also court of records. ये भी important है. They are court of record. Both High Court and Supreme Court are court of records. But agar most of the time we misunderstand that the structure of the hierarchy of judiciary in India is such that Supreme Court controls High Court and High Court controls lower courts. But this is not the case. Okay. Supreme Court does not have administrative control over High Court. Okay. However, the appointment of judges of the High Courts, the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India has a role in that. Appointment transfers, in that case, the Supreme Court of India's Chief Justice of India has a role in that. But administrative control in पे नहीं है. High courts are independent constitutional bodies. Constitutional bodies in the sense that they have been mentioned in the Constitution of India separately. ठीक है. Now, but high courts, there is a high court for at least every state. ठीक है. अरुणाचल का हाई कोर्ट असम का बेंच में है, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टेट्स के लिए हाई कोर्ट्स हैं. तो हाई कोर्ट और लोअर कोर्ट, अब यहाँ पे आप इसको सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लीजिए, यहाँ पे लिख दीजिए हाई कोर्ट. ओके. अब हाई कोर्ट इज द हाईएस्ट कोर्ट ऑफ द स्टेट. फॉर एग्जांपल यूपी का हाई कोर्ट इलाहाबाद, एंड देयर इज वन डिवीजन बेंच एट लखनऊ. तो हाई कोर्ट ऑफ यूपी या हाई कोर्ट ऑफ इलाहाबाद एज वी कॉल इट, या दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट. तो अब यूपी में बहुत सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं. हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में सिविल कोर्ट होगी, क्रिमिनल कोर्ट होगी और रेवेन्यू कोर्ट्स होंगे. ये हमारे इंपॉर्टेंस के लिए अभी नहीं है, हम इन चीज़ों पे फोकस करेंगे. सिविल कोर्ट में जो जज होगा उसको डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज कहते हैं या सेशन, डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड सेशन जज. But अगर the same judge is presiding in the civil court and criminal court as well, then he will be called district and session judge. But if he is presiding in a civil court, तब उसे हम district judge कहेंगे या civil judge. लेकिन जो criminal courts होती हैं उन्हें हम sessions courts कहते हैं, sessions courts. ठीक है, तो इनके जो प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर्स होते हैं उनको हम कहते हैं सेशन जज. और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड सेशन जज व्हेन ही इज अगेन प्रिसाइडिंग ओवर बोथ सिविल एंड क्रिमिनल कोर्ट्स. उसके नीचे आते हैं सब जज फैमिली कोर्ट्स. फैमिली कोर्ट्स आते हैं, फिर मुंसिफ कोर्ट्स, फिर स्मॉल कॉज कोर्ट्स. ठीक है, ये डिसाइड होता है ऑन द लेवल ऑफ, फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल. ठीक है, फिर सब ये भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे होगा. ठीक है, मुंसिफ कोर्ट ये तहसील पे होती है, तहसील है ना, या ब्लॉक कह सकते हैं इसे, ब्लॉक लेवल. ओके, एंड स्मॉल कॉज कोर्ट्स आर द कोर्ट्स जो कि बहुत छोटे पेटी सिविल डिस्प्यूट्स को फाइट करते हैं, जिनमें फाइट किया जाता है. ठीक है, स्मॉल कॉज कोर्ट्स और मुंसिफ कोर्ट्स के डिसीजंस फाइनल होते हैं, दे कैन नॉट बी अपील्ड. डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज का जो डिसीजन होता है दैट कैन बी अपील्ड इन हाई कोर्ट, बट देयर आर सर्टेन रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन दैट. सिमिलरली मेट्रो क्रिमिनल कोर्ट्स जो होती हैं उनका डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक होगी, मतलब हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के लिए एक तो होगी सेशन कोर्ट. फिर मेट्रोपॉलिटन मजिस्ट्रेट क्लास 1, क्लास 2, क्लास 3 डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टाइप ऑफ क्राइम दे आर ट्राइंग. Okay. Sorry. So this was a brief explanation of the court system in judicial, lower courts basically, Supreme Court, High Court. अब हर High Court के बाद High Courts are not under the administrative control of Supreme Court, but lower judiciary is under the administrative control of High Court. ठीक है, तो currently the district judges are recruited by state public service commissions. Most of the state में state public service commissions recruit करते हैं, या तो state public service commission recruit करते हैं, या तो high courts themselves recruit. Okay, because the articles say that the judges in the district of the district judges will be appointed by governor of the state on the recommendation of the High Court. अब High Court's recommendation by the governor of the state के through State Public Service Commission and with the consent of the High Court. What happens is judiciary के एग्जाम होते हैं state level पे. अब जो यहाँ पे select होते हैं High Court उनको recommend कर देती है for appointment. This is what happens. जहाँ पे State Public Service Commission एग्जाम लेते हैं. Otherwise High Courts conduct their own exams and then they are appointed by governor. Okay, High Courts will recommend कि हमने एग्जाम लिया और ये candidates हम recommend कर रहे हैं, and then governor will appoint them. High Courts of state have the administrative control as I told. ठीक है. Okay, now what are the constitutional provisions? Whenever there is a topic that involves polity, we are going to look for the very important thing that are constitutional and legal provisions. Okay, if very simple and easy way of revising polity I will tell you is you go through the 12 months polity important issues through any magazine. You take the previous 12 months, okay, from exam, any 12 months important polity current affair, and then go through the constitutional provisions of all of them. Note those constitutional provisions in one copy. It will be around, at max it will be around 10 pages. There's not a single question that is going to be out of that, believe me. It's a tried and tested method. Okay, so this is the right way, that is the approach, because of course you will have read the standard texts like Lakshmikant and all, but how are you going to revise? Revision is not done through again reading again and again. That is not the standard procedure of revision. Revision is either done through questions or in the case of polity, as I told. Other subjects का भी है, as time comes I will tell you. Now appointment of district judges, as I told, is the governor in consultation with the High Court. And the person who is going to be appointed as a district judge should have at least 7 years of experience as an advocate or as a pleader. Advocate or pleader has no difference. बस terminology उस वक्त यूज होती थी तो आज भी ये यूज हो रही है और कुछ डिफरेंस नहीं है. Recruitment of person with other than district judge, article 234, okay, that will be done by the state high courts. The district judge, now who is a district judge? Judge of a city civil court, additional district judge, joint district judge, assistant district judge. मतलब डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल की जो कोर्ट्स हैं, सेशंस कोर्ट और सिविल कोर्ट्स, फैमिली कोर्ट, उन स्मॉल कॉज कोर्ट, उन सारे कोर्ट्स के जो जजेस होते हैं उनको हम डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज ही कहते हैं. ओके, under the article of 235 for the definition. Now what is article 312? A law giving effect to, it's a very important article, please note it down. A law giving effect to the All India Judicial Services shall not be deemed as a constitutional amendment. Okay, shall not be deemed as a constitutional amendment. Okay, that is any changes that are brought to make, okay, why is it written that it shall not be deemed as a constitutional amendment? Because the recruitment of district judges is a power of states or high courts. Yes, federal, are you getting it? The federal structure might get affected, and the power of states for appointment of judges might be taken away, as they are currently recruiting through they are recruiting through state public service commissions, or high courts are recruiting. So, but this law says that any amendment that is brought, now whenever this amendment is being brought, okay, तो एक amendment करना पड़ेगा article 233, 234, 235 में, so that the power of recruitment can be transferred from state to what? Center. But this article 312 exclusively mentions that any law giving effect to All India Judicial Services shall not be deemed. That is, whenever All India Judicial Services bill is being brought, that will not be considered as a constitutional amendment. Okay. Now, what is All India Judicial Services? It seeks to create a centralized cadre of district judges. अब centralized cadre of district judges के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि district judges जो होते हैं वो हर स्टेट अपने लेवल पे रिक्रूट करता है. अब उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि the people get recruited from the state itself, है ना, तो they understand the socio-economic, political and cultural conditions of the state or of the place they are posted in, है ना, क्योंकि वो अपने स्टेट में रिक्रूट होते हैं. they understand the socio-economic, political, है ना, cultural values or cultural problems of the society they are posted in. So they have a better understanding, and there might be better coherence, and there might be better acceptance of the decisions taken by those judges as compared to some outsider who might not be very well versed with the culture or the socio-economy or the polity of the place he has been posted. For example, a person from UP, he gets posted in some district of Telangana, so he might not have this similar kind of understanding as compared to the person who is from Telangana and is being appointed as a district judge in some district of Telangana. For that is a problem. So, but government says that an all India level exam will be conducted by UPSC. It was first proposed by Law Commission in 1958. Now, Law Commission is neither a constitutional body nor a statutory body, but it is an executive body. 42nd Amendment of, now this is important, the Article 312 we are dealing with. Article 312 सोन सिंह कमेटी रिकमेंडेशन के बेसिस पे आर्टिकल 312 में ये ऐड कर दिया गया क्या, द प्रोविजन, द अर्लियर प्रोविजन ऑफ 312 का प्रोविजन हमने देखा कि देयर शैल बी एन ऑल इंडिया जुडिशियल सर्विसेज, ऑल इंडिया जुडिशियल सर्विस. नाउ अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, See, this is how when you are preparing All India Judicial Services, you are revising or preparing a lot of things from polity. For example, federal structure, the role of Rajya Sabha. Why? It is the Rajya Sabha which authorizes the parliament to create a new All India Services in the interest of the nation. Okay. There's an article 248 or 249, I believe. I'm not able to recall it. But that article says that Rajya Sabha can authorize the parliament if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution to create an All India Services. For example, IAS, IPS are All India Services. If All India Judicial Services is going to be created, first of all, Rajya Sabha will have to pass a resolution in Rajya Sabha. Then the parliament is going to be authorized. Then the government will be able to bring a bill to what? Then the government will be able to bring a bill in parliament or in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, wherever, to bring about this All India Judicial Services. Okay, so and now to exempt it from the vagaries or the complications of the constitutional amendment, and to make it easy for the successive governments to implement an All India Judicial Services, the Swarn Singh committee recommendation was ki include it in Article 312 and make it an exemption under constitutional amendment. Okay, make it an exemption under constitutional amendment. Now, what are the concerns? Language barrier, of course. The power of states and high court to recruit the judges will be taken away. The federal structure is going to be affected. The argument that centralized recruitment will be efficient is does not hold very strong, because in case of IAS, which is central government recruitment, there are 22% seats vacant. Okay, the vacancy is 22%. It's like 1/4 of the seats are vacant. And for Indian Army, 7,298 position of officers seats are vacant. So that does not necessarily mean that the backlog in lower judiciary is very high. But to address that, AIJS, implementation of AIJS, and saying that AIJS is going to change the scenario of the lower judiciary by making the recruitment process effective, by making the regular recruitment, that does not hold very strong. State recruitments provide for a better representation of SC, STs and OBC due to the domicile requirement. Every state has a domicile requirement that if a person belonging to SC, ST or OBC community category, they are applying in a state that is not their native state, so they will be considered general. Okay? That means to claim SC, ST, OBC quota, you will have to have a domicile requirement in the state. Now, when the exam is going to be conducted on an all India basis, people from SC, ST, OBC community might face in that state. For example, in the backward states, for example, for northeast states, example, तो वहाँ पे the communities are like the backwardness is higher. Okay, so these communities might face a stronger competition from the communities of the northern India or southern India or the western India. Okay, but if the competition is going to be held in Assam for within, so there will be a lower competition for the people belonging to SC, ST and OBC communities. Okay, so that is a concern. And AIJS does not address the power of poor judicial education, except for some national law universities. Okay, the judicial education in India has been not up to the mark, and AIJS does not seek to address that. There are some kind of reform that need to be brought in the judicial services, but AIJS is not a right way in that. In that path, AIJS does not seem to be the right path. Okay, I hope you understood it.